Hey everyone, welcome to another Video Game Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rose. This this guy,
Yeah, you did it the right way, I think. Okay.
yeah, that guy is Josh. I'll just call him Josh.
Okay.
And today we have a special guest. We have Lloyd Ancman, also known as Danceman. Uh, I don't know how you got that amazing nickname, but it's really sticking for me. Just letting you know.
I'm a tall white guy. I can't dance for my life. Sorry.
Makes it even better.
You sure about that, Lloyd?
Pretty
Danceman.
much, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, so Lloyd, you're kind of the like this enigma that just showed up out of nowhere that and I don't want to say out of nowhere, but all of a sudden you're like, hey, I got this lottery cartridge,
Mhm.
and people are like, what the hell? And then you just went on this tirade of sharing all this amazing stuff on Facebook. And I think we kind of want to talk about a little bit about the lottery cartridge, kind of your
Definitely.
origin, and maybe you always existed. Maybe you just appeared out of thin air in the video game collecting world.
But
Um,
but
we'd love to learn about you a little bit. So Matt,
bef-
I know, has good questions.
yeah. Before we hop into the lottery card or anything, I always just like to, I like to know people's backgrounds. Like, when did you first experience video games in your life? Like,
Mhm.
what was your first experience with video games? How long ago was that? And like, what system was it? Or
Oh, definitely. So just a little bit about myself. I'm 38. I've been collecting for roughly 25 years.
wow,
99 is when I started. My earliest memory with video games was playing Atari 2600 with my grandfather. He had a 2600. And then started with the SNES. That was my first system, my own system. But yeah, mainly what really got me started with video game collecting was my parents are antique collectors. So they said, "Hey, Lloyd, we want you to hone your skills when it comes to studying and organizing." They said, "Hey, we'll be backing you. You can collect anything you want." So I'm like,
wow,
"Okay, cool." And being a 13-year-old kid back in 99, I was like, hey, I like video games. So they said, you need to know everything about it though before you start collecting it. So I studied. My goal was the NES. So that's where I started. Pretty much what started was Savers, which is a thrift store here in the West Coast. I found a top loader with about 20 games at Savers. And that's what pretty much started my collecting back in 99. And mainly all in person finds is what I was wanting to do. No, I didn't. Again, I was 13, no internet, so
Mhm.
I decided to go for a complete set for NES. And so
wow.
my parents were full behind me. GameStop, Game Crazy, thrift stores, flea markets were main going to pawn shops as well. And I pretty much obtained the full set from 2000 2004. It took me about 4 years, all through high
Wow.
school. So
Nice.
Wow.
and
What did
then sorry.
What did you use for your resources? Like, just even knowing the list, because
Yep.
99, the resources aren't like they are today. You can just go online, type it up,
hmm
boom, you got a resource. What did you
So,
use?
I remember middle school at the computer lab saying, I don't know how many games there are for the Nintendo. So I looked up, and of course, yeah, the Ether's his famous list
Hmm.
that he had with the rarities, and that's what I usually base off of. So that's the list I used to try and complete the whole set. So what really helped was joining Nintendo Age in the early thousands. I think it was 2003, 2004 is when I joined Nintendo Age. And I made a lot of good friends on there that helped me track down some of the remaining games I was needing to complete the set.
Wow.
So after NES, I went off. I had a complete Nintendo set. Then I finished the Super Nintendo set, N64 set, and that's the complete sets I have. But then I was pretty much all my favorite systems. I'm not gonna say my parents were hoarders, but they know what they like antiques. So I kind of got their bug. But at the height of my collection, before I joined the military, I had about 5,000 games and about 95 different video game systems.
Wow.
That was, yeah, and that was 2010 is when I joined the military.
Now
Wow.
you're on the West Coast. Where?
Yes, that. So yeah,
Where
I grew up in Las Vegas.
okay.
So in the early thousands, there was about I knew a couple other fellow collectors. There were about 4 or 5 of us that pretty much had
Mhm.
the whole valley. And a lot of and I knew a lot of the managers at GameStops, Game Crazies, and they would contact me saying, "Hey, Lloyd, we got this game, Flintstones 2. Do you want that?" And I was like, yeah, I'm like, oh, well, it's not that because GameStop, they didn't have it wasn't even their database. Like, we'll give you the price for Flintstones 1, which was like $7.99 back then. So that
Mhm.
was fun. So yeah, that's how I got a lot of the really rare stuff, is just knowing the managers when they got traded in and stuff like that. So
Nice.
Smart. And
mhm.
your parents were smart to have you do all the research first, too.
Yeah, oh, it really helped with my schooling a lot. So with organization and stuff like that. So
And was everything were you just going for cart? Was that your mission? Just carts on everything?
Um, that was a bit minimum, but again, whatever I found a lot of CIB. When I finished the set, I was about 60% CIB.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and all the big stuff I found, not say dirt cheap, but very, very inexpensive back then. I remember when the GameCube came out, PS2 came out, people were just giving this stuff away. It was nice.
That was pretty cheap.
Any
Hmm.
and any special stories on like stadium events or anything
Hmm.
like that?
Some of the big, like Lil Samson, I got at a pawn shop in Gardnerville, Nevada, up near Carson City for $2. That was a big one. But yeah, stadium events I did find at a Salvation Army here in Vegas, cart and box for $5.
Nice.
Oh,
So yeah, so I still have that cart. I still have the box, but I have the cart still.
oh,
That's wild.
$5.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Christ.
again, I think back then, if I spent more than $20 for a game, it had to be pretty special. I think the most I spent for a game was Final Fantasy Fight for like 25.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Did,
was a spendy game back then. It always
Mm-hmm.
kind of was. If,
And that
and
was
every Koei
yeah.
game ever,
Yep,
they
and that
were
was
always
that game dude in LA back in like I think 2005, 2004.
wow. Yeah.
Josh is just having flashbacks now. He's like, I
I'm just
remember
thinking
those
about my
prices.
price list when I
Yep.
sometimes I get a little nostalgia and I go on digital press and I'll like type in my name and I'll see my old
Hmm.
sales post and it's like $10 for these games. I'm like,
Yep.
geez. Like this is
Uh,
here's the $10 list, here's the $5 list, the $2 list, and the dollar list. I'm like, man,
yeah, when I
just
was going
doing this
for
shit.
other stuff, I used I don't know if it's probably still around, the game trading site, Game T's. It was a Game TZ.
Yeah, KMTZ. Yeah, I
Yep, I
remember.
used that. I found trading with a lot of people as well way
Mhm.
back. And I've got some nice stuff off that as well.
So
Yeah.
would you also do I mean, I don't know if enough collectors talk about this, but would you also basically buy a bulk, get the games that you need for your list and then
Mhm.
resell the rest or trade them off? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it
because
was. It was not. Again, I was in high school, so I didn't really sell a lot, but I did trade. It was on the game trading site. I did trade a lot,
okay,
Mhm.
as well as the Nintendo Age. That's
got it.
where again some of the other system big hitters I got off trading and stuff like that. So with a lot of
What,
the excess,
what was your Nintendo Age handle?
it was my username was Collector Wannabe.
Collector wannabe.
Yeah, it was again. I was young. I was in high school, so I didn't post a lot, but I would log behind the scenes with trading and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just don't. So
Did
many names.
did Josh banhammer you?
Probably.
Probably, yeah,
Yeah, probably did.
yeah. BA and Dreamer and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Dream TR.
Yeah.
yep.
I would always get blamed for banning people after I cussed them out, I think. So,
So yeah.
and I typically didn't ban people. Now I just cuss people out on Facebook, I think.
So yeah. Again, pretty large collection. I joined the military. I kept it at my parents' house, but then 6 moves with it, with all the over the course of a decade, it was just getting too much
Hmm.
stress, moving. So I ended up near the beginning of COVID, I sold a lot of it and used the funds to acquire some of the more items I've been dreamed about of getting, and because I'm more into the history and preserving stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of liked, yeah, I guess we can get into that a little more, but would you see, you ended up with kind of the grail of internet lore, I would
Mhm.
say that, and maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah,
I,
so definitely here. I mean, I have it also. Yep. So this is it right here. This is the Nintendo lottery card. I did again have to get it graded for insurance purposes, like most of my collection. But kind of the story behind it was being military. I have to go on TDYs or travel all the time to other installations, and one of the places I go to a lot is San Antonio, Texas. And I know a lot of the being in San Antonio a whole bunch of times for training, and I lived there for a couple of years. I knew a lot of the game stores there, and one of the game stores there, Propaganda Palace. I don't know if you've ever been there, in San Antonio. AJ is a really nice guy. He's the owner. He told me that he got this. It was about, I think, 40 games in a box. This teenagers traded in to a store about 3-4 years ago, and he didn't know what it was at first. He thought it was just a random prototype, but he gave good money for it. And then, like I said in the post, we were only able to get through the first couple of screens because of the parental
Mhm.
lock on there. But it did say 18 plus, lottery only for 18 plus, and a demonstration. So it kind of piqued my interest. And from the Nintendo age, I knew about the Minnesota State Lottery card, and I was thinking, hey, is this it? So that's when I posted it on a high end Facebook group, and it kind of blew up.
Yeah.
And then so talking to my AJ, the owner, um, I helped him get more information on it, and he uh, he was a little hesitant on preserving it because of devaluation and all that stuff. And after talking to him, he was able to convince him to sell it to me. So I was able to buy it and work through the Video Game History Foundation and dump it and find out what's on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think maybe in the short term, dumping this item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've lost a little bit of value, but I think there is so much collector lore to something like this that
Yeah.
the physical item, I believe, has value that will outlast the decline in value, the perceived decline in value on something like that being dumped and shared publicly.
Oh, again, for being from Vegas, gambling, and Nintendo, it was just, and it has my initials on it. I had to get it. So yeah, so it was I had to get it, and I just again I want to share it. It's history, and I wanted to share it with
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, I love it.
Again, he's doing a really awesome job tracking down a lot of the programmers and history behind it. More on the Nintendo side, other than the Minnesota side, but he's finding a lot of really interesting stuff about the program as well as what Nintendo tried to do to procure gambling on the NES in
Mhm.
America.
Can you break down for at least for the audience what you do know about it thus far? Kind of some of the details.
Yeah. So again, what we know about it right now and what Frank has found. So in early 91, the Nintendo was looking at how to boost sales with the Nintendo. And they said, hey, we want to look more into the adult realm of the demographic.
Hmm.
And one thing that a lot of adults do back then was gambling. So they wanted to see, because they already did it on the Famicom in Japan back in the late 80s with stock market and horse racing. They wanted to bring it over here to America. And so they kind of reached out to a lot of the state lotteries of, hey, about a third of houses and homes in the United States have an NES in them. So
Mhm.
let's work together and make money. So so that's what Nintendo did in 91. They pretty much made the program, or at least what their concept was, and they pitched it to all the state lotteries in the United States. And Minnesota was the first one to step forward and say, hey, this actually looks pretty cool, and we can make a lot of money together. So Nintendo was close to making a deal with Minnesota and the Minnesota State Lottery. And what they were going to do is make a test market. So if not people ought to know, on the underneath of the NES, there's that the trap door port
Yep.
that they were going to use for the modem to go between your house and the California the state lottery um, uh, domain area there. And with that, you were able to gamble, purchase lottery tickets, and they had actual lottery games on the program itself, which is pretty interesting. You can imagine the backlash that political and religious had. I actually talked to a couple of people that they were from Minnesota and they remember when this happened in 91. A lot of publicity, both local and national. And they were condemning it. There was such backlash from the Senate as well as religious and parental organizations that the Senate from Minnesota was going to threaten the state lottery that they were going to just all their advertising budget was going to go away. So that kind of was a red flag for Minnesota. So they said they stepped back from a Nintendo and said we can't do this anymore. So that was right before they were going to do the test market of about 10,000 units. And that's where it kind of hit a brick wall. With all the backlash, they tried going. We talked to one of the programmers who worked on it. They with this cart, they pitched it to a lot of meetings with a lot of other state lotteries and actually international lotteries. But the backlash was so much that they had to scrap the program back in late 91. And that's where this is as far that Frank believes is as far as the program got. And then talking to some of the programmers, especially on the Nintendo side, that is what we have found as well, that this is it. This is as far as the program got for Nintendo trying to legalize gambling on the Nintendo, the American Nintendo. So
it's a really cool piece of history. It's amazing to me that it actually showed up. So
yeah, I remember that all that was before was a promotional video on the Minnesota lottery side that showed some of the still shots of it. So
yeah.
Did you find out how that kid that came in and traded it in, and were you able to track him back down? Like, hey, where did you get this?
Yeah, so AJ, that's the only time he ever saw the kid, but the kid said that he got it from a house cleaner who was cleaning out a house for a client, and it was I think it was a room, and it was a box of Nintendo games that the house cleaner was in the room, and the house cleaner said to the house owner, "Hey, can I?" The house owner said, "Just throw it away. I don't need it anymore." So the house cleaner said, "Hey, I have some kids on my street that like video games. Mind if I have it and see if they want it?" So the house owner said, "Yeah, take it." So we don't know. Again, it's a Nintendo of America product. So it may have been the person worked for Nintendo of America or had a family member that was Nintendo of America employee. But again, I'm sure they probably made a couple of these demo carts, but this is the only one after 35 years to surface. So again, like you said, in Nintendo age, it was a myth. And I remember hearing about it as well. So I was very happy and excited to actually unearth it, because if not, it would have been thrown away. It just destroyed.
Amazing.
And it surfaced in Texas randomly.
Yeah, it was in San Antonio. So from Redmond, Washington, Washington, it got down to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Wow.
You would think it would show up in Minnesota or in Washington, but no, it was in Texas.
And of course the homeowners were just going to throw it away. Luckily, somebody spoke up and was like, "Nope."
Well, it would have been awesome if there was a modem. The modem was there, but who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just happy that this is not in the trash, which is nice. So
yeah, me too.
That's insane. I wonder if Nintendo kept any relic of like a modem or anything.
Again, there was so much backlash. They even when I was really digging deep, and same with Frank, like they actually almost got barred from owning the Seattle Mariners because of this.
Just from doing something that currently
gambling,
potentially ownership in sports betting and having I can see it.
And then
one interesting fact that once I had Frank dump it, Yeah, of course, he looked into the program. It's really cool. There's music. There's the opening. It's really cool. The music is it's not, it's like it kind of very similar to Adventure Island to Star Tropics.
No tropics. Okay.
It's like an altered Star Tropics music for the lottery. It's pretty
Hmm.
cool. I'll wait till Frank gets all that. But the parental lock screen, which was when Nintendo said, "Hey, this will help prevent kids from gambling," um, can be bypassed with a Game Genie.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids won't be able to figure that one out.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah. Again, my goal, and I'm pretty happy with where my collection is now, was to obtain very historically significant items. Again, I've had complete sets. I've had all that stuff. I played them all, but again, moving military is just too much. I promised my wife that I would get it down to something that items that we can pretty much carry on to an airplane.
Hmm. I
So
like it.
did
So you took all that crap and you condensed it into
50 items.
50 items. Is that hard coming from a collector hoarder
Oh,
family?
it was very hard at first because
Mentally
again,
straining.
it was all the hours, countless hours of the thrill of the hunt, finding all that stuff, getting the complete sets. It You get attached to it. But
Hmm.
again, it was just every time I moved, it would cause so much stress and anxiety.
Sure.
Like I would have like the sharpening STV. I had a sharpening STV that every time I moved, I would swear the legs would break on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So Lloyd 2020, before he started selling,
Mhm.
versus Lloyd today, would you say your mind is more clear from
Oh
having
yes.
less stuff? And do
Oh
you feel like you have time for different things and you're not thinking about video games? Or explain that feeling to me, I
oh,
guess.
it's it's more at ease. Insurance purposes, it's much easier. Again, if I need to, I can fit all this stuff in a safety deposit box if I needed to.
Yeah.
On like a 5,000 game collection, it's impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Storage unit.
yeah, oh god, yeah, even then. But uh,
Send it to a vault. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, into a vault, yeah. But yeah, it just these are items that some of these items I've had for the last 25 years, some I've just recently got over the last couple of years, but each item has significance to me with because I'm a history buff. I love the history behind this stuff.
Hmm.
um I of course played them all before I got them, but some of the stuff, they're not really games. They're more, again, like, how I am with the service center stuff.
Yeah.
The that was one area that really interested me, was the repair aspect, because again, the beginnings of video games, how did people fix their items? There's not repair centers like there are all over the place for like cell phones. So there's not much, and so those early years, it would really interest me. So
So, well, I mean, we're already into it. What else you got? I know you got some
oh
other things.
man.
Like, show us some of the good stuff. I mean,
So
it's hard to
one
trump that, but let's see
Yeah,
what else
so
you got.
let's see. Let's start with this one has a specific story behind it. So
Yeah, I was going to ask about the air
Ooh,
raid because
yeah,
ooh.
so yeah, this is one that really got me, I guess, known in the community. Um, Before, again, I was behind the scenes working with a lot of the higher end sellers, trying to get some of the higher, more historical stuff.
Yeah.
But and I, again, one thing aspect, like you were saying about the more free time and stuff with less of a collection. Now that I have pretty much everything I need, it sucks both. It's good and bad. But now when I go on vacation, I used to go to game stores all the time on vacation. There's no need anymore, so I have more time with family and stuff like that. So you have that. But there was a game store that had, first time I ever saw in person was an air raid for Atari 2600.
Wow.
Again, I worked with the owner. I did a partial trade in money. I was extremely happy. Like, I had it again. Just how many copies of Air Raid are there in the world? Probably
not many.
less than 15, if that. But talking to on Reddit and on Facebook, especially the high end group, they're trading games in Missouri. I guess was very famous back in, what was it, 2022 is when their store got broken into. I
Yeah,
believe it
that
was.
sounds about right. Maybe it was, I think it was maybe a little before that, but yeah, yeah, he was robbed
Yeah, he
essentially.
was robbed, and his personal items were in his store that got robbed. And one of the items, his most prized possession, was a loose or a card only air raid. Um, so posting on it, I found out that that card that I bought was actually the stolen one.
Wow.
So I was both heartbroken and happy that we actually found it. But working with Jason, who is the owner there, really nice guy. We made a deal to where I didn't lose any money, got fully compensated for it, and I was able to get the cart back to him, and he's very happy there. Amazing community on both on Reddit and on Facebook. I was contacted by another private collector saying he would be more than happy to sell his copy of Air Raid to me, for again doing the good deed and stuff. So that's
Wow.
this copy here that I'm very happy to procure. So amazing community, amazing people that I've met. That's one of the main things about the high end group. Very close knit, very friendly people, and again, I guess it was also a good street cred as
Yeah,
well,
that's
returning that. So it gave me a even more open door to finding some more of these more very unique items that I'm looking for. So
And for those listening, that's a 9.2 graded air rated. That is
yeah,
insane.
it's the only one graded in the world right now.
sure.
CGC is so the reason I went with CGC, first thing, usually I was not really into grading when
Yeah.
I collected, and even recently, but once you start getting into the higher end stuff, insurance companies, they need two things: you need to be authenticated, and you need to get a appraisal.
Uh,
So only way to get authenticated is to get graded.
yeah.
Working with Jason, he is one of the graders at CGC. He kind of explains everything, and that's why I went with CGC. They actually had me go down to Florida, to Tampa, to Sarasota there, and go to their facility. And for 2 days, they pretty much stopped everything and worked on my 50 items and graded everything there while I was there,
Wow.
because I was not going to ship some of this stuff, especially some of
Yeah,
the
I
one
feel
of a
you
kind
there.
stuff. So
Wow. And yeah, and I was gonna say who has a case for that? I mean, I know.
yeah. So yeah, this is a prototype case. Jason has some of his Atari stuff as well graded. They are going to be working on that soon. Same with the Sega Genesis loose as well, which I'll show as well. But that is one thing that they're working on right now. So they're going to be doing Atari 2600
Nice.
very shortly here. And there's of course a lot of grails for Atari 2600.
And only on cartridge in many cases. So
Yeah, like you have like the Red Sea Crossing, Birthday Mania, a lot of
Mhm.
those really, really rare one of a kind items.
now, say for instance, something like that does show up and you have that opportunity by a Red Sea crossing, you're going to take that opportunity to
It,
try to
it,
add it, right? Or
it,
are you,
again, I'm more of a Nintendo and newer. That's what I am right now. It's just I
sure.
remember always hearing about Air Raid, T Handle, Blue, Baby Blue, and
Does
it's
it actually have a box air raid? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
again, it's all from my Nintendo age era, talking
Right.
about this Atari age, same as well.
Yeah.
That's just that stuck in my mind that it's a historical or a mythical item.
Yeah, it is mythical. And for years, people were like, there's no box for this. This is a Brazilian hack pirate piece of
Mm-hmm.
shit. What's the company that made this? Menavision?
Yeah, it starts with an M. I forgot. It's
I think it's Menavision, right? And they
Minivision. Yes, it was a
yeah.
toy store. It was a chain of family-owned stores.
Right.
And
And it was out of California,
mhm.
but these apparently were only sold at a specific Tuesday morning in Texas.
What?
Yep,
Yep.
yep. So yeah, so the story was that I guess the one of the sons or something programmed the game, and he went around to some of the high retailers trying to sell it. I think Tuesday morning was the only one that picked it up to
hmm
sell it. So again, I think there was only a production of a couple hundred, if that, probably 100 units, and it was just it's a pretty poor example of what like
PRGE battle.
Yeah, pretty
Is
much.
that it?
Yeah, it's that, and it's just why did they choose the design they did? That's just really interesting. So, and the
Yeah.
name's not even on the cart, which just makes it really interesting as well.
The box is pretty epic for it though, if
I know it just
you've never seen it. And comes with a manual. There's only a handful of boxes known on that thing, and
Mhm.
um, it
Doesn't
it. I remember when the first box showed up and people were lost their gourd on
Mhm.
Atari Age about that, and then but people had talked about it. I think Sean Kelly had said that he had owned a box at one time and nobody believed him. He's like, yeah, I got on a flood and I threw it away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Something like that.
So again, I never would go after 2600, but again, it was at a local game store, and I was
Yeah,
just
I
how
would have
often
been
do you
after
come
it.
across an air raid?
you
You
don't.
don't.
You don't.
Yeah, so I'm
Never.
like, unfortunately, it was a stolen one that again we didn't know, but I'm glad it surfaced there to help Jason as well get his copy
Yeah.
back. So,
You try to rub enough elbows with people to have that opportunity to buy one when you have that
oh, of
like
course, yeah.
presents itself. So, and you did that. That's amazing. That's a
Yep.
nice score. What a good story that you were able to
Um,
acquire one after the fact.
what do you guys want to see some of the more
I
unique or
I
historical
want
items?
I want to see the Super Mario 64 demo cart
Yep.
and I want to know about that because I don't think there's very much information about this online,
No, there isn't. So
and I
that
think
was
it's a really
interesting as
unique.
well. So
I think it's a really
again,
unique
most
demo
people
cart.
know they know about the original revision A of the 20 the 64 test cart, and then you have the I guess the more uncommon revision B.
Hmm.
But again, not much is known about the N64 test cart.
The Mario 64, right?
Yeah, so this is probably the most expensive or rarest Mario game in existence.
Wow.
But again, what I guess was it? We don't know. Was it sold by Nintendo or because there's more than one of these, so it's not a one of from one service center.
Huh.
So we don't know. Was it sold by Nintendo? I
Yeah,
don't know if anyone has. That'd be awesome to know if there was any uh, catalogs for service centers to purchase from.
yeah. Limbo Funk posted it on his website years
Yeah,
ago, so that's
it's just a retail copy of Mario 64, but it was used for the service centers to test in
mhm.
64. So
It's pretty cool. And I just don't think there's any information out there on that.
no,
Now we're putting it on a podcast because I think it's an important thing that
oh
people are
yeah,
aware of. And
it's
all
just
it is, it's like an Avery label across the.
yeah, it's a really cheap, but they're all the same. So it's from one source.
Huh.
Yeah,
I know about two other copies of like this, so I
yeah.
don't know where
They
it came from.
So it's literally just the regular copy,
Yep,
just with a sticker.
yep, just as test cartridge on
Bizarre.
it.
I gotta
So
imagine they're like, here's a Mario 64. You want to just test the systems quick. Don't want to go through the rigmarole of the
yeah,
test cartridge.
I'm surprised that Nintendo, if it is Nintendo, they didn't do something like the Zelda test cards. At least make it a different color so someone doesn't take it by accident, which is why they did the yellow test cards.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. But I think maybe it's
They got
Nintendo
lazier.
64 at this point, and they're like,
Mhm.
mm,
There's
whatever.
not again when
Mhm.
Nintendo 64 came out, there was not many repair centers left.
Yeah.
They were all closing, so it may have just been we need to give them something.
They just
Got
had
to give
the
them something, and here it is. Yeah,
doesn't
it's an
it
interesting item. I
doesn't
think
the
it's interesting.
64 have the like phone number on the back of it? Am I wrong? Like when you look at a Nintendo 6, not the cartridge,
Oh,
The
the
console, yeah, it
like
does have it has a number on it.
yeah, it
for
has the
repair.
repair center. It has the yeah for the hotline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the last of the
Well, no, they got into GameCube. There was
did
Yes,
test
they?
centers still
yeah. So yeah,
GameCube.
the GameCube was the last, pretty much, because they do have the discs, the service center repair discs as well.
Hmm.
But I'm more of a cartridge person, so
Wow.
You sure
yep.
about that, Lloyd? You sure
Oh man.
you don't need those?
Now did
Some,
you complete the yellow test cart set there? Is that what I
Of the known, yes. So
Okay.
here, yeah. So,
I saw the stack.
oh my gosh. Okay.
The yellow cards are so cool.
Yes.
Look at them all. My gosh.
Uh,
And they're
so
all
again,
graded.
so yeah, they're all graded.
That's
So
awesome.
again, like most people, they can go for variants and go down the rabbit hole. That's what I was told. But there's 4 different variants for test carts that service centers used, both gray and yellow. There's gray 3-screw and 5-screw, and yellow 3-screw and 5-screw.
Wow.
And they all came out different years, different revisions. So of course, the earlier ones are the gray 5-screws. Those are the rarest, and I have both known ones. I'll show you that.
Mhm. So
Right here.
there's only
So you
2.
have a control deck 5-screw and a joystick 5-screw.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are probably the rarest of the ones, because these are only like the first year in 1985, 86, when there was only a couple of service centers that they used.
Wow.
So again, 5-screw gray. The issue is people, they were so similar to normal Nintendo games that people would take them by accident, or service centers would the employees would take them home by accident. So that was one of the complaints that service centers were telling Nintendo. They said, "Hey, you need to do something to distinguish our test carts from normal retail." So Nintendo decided, "Hey, what can we do? Let's just change. Let's make a different color." So that's where Nintendo decided to do the mustard yellow. So it's and so for the first year, for pretty much till 1987, you had yellow 5-screws,
Mhm.
and of course, again, there's 5 different ones: joystick, port, control deck, amazing power pad. I'm sure they used this so many times. And of course, this is probably, again, a very uncommon. I probably only know only a handful of others, probably 1 or 2, is a 5-screw Zelda test cart.
Test card. Yeah, that's
Wow.
wild. What
So
label? What's the label variant of the test cart?
it's
Oh,
an
it's an
oval.
ovals.
So
Oval.
it has it. So this is like probably 87,
Mm-hmm.
probably late 87, because it was 88 is when they changed to the 3-screw
Okay.
to save money. So, and then of course I had to get the full set in 3-screw as well. So I have all that as well. So,
How do you feel about the Gyromite and the Duck Hunt yellow test
I
cards?
think talking to it, those weren't officially made by Nintendo. Those were pretty much homebrew ones from that specific service center. There
Mhm.
is a known test cart that I am missing though, and that is a Miracle Piano one.
Oh.
Hmm.
So the company who had made the Miracle Piano teaching system is based in Northern California.
Mhm.
I know the collector who bought out that service center, and they had a specific licensing with the company who made it,
Mhm.
for any computer boards that were sent back to be that are defective, they would fix them. So they have an actual Nintendo authorized test cart. The program is unknown; it's not been dumped. So my
That's
goal is to
wild.
try and get it so we can at least save it.
Is
But I,
that
I know there's 2 copies. I know of 2 copies.
a 3-screw as well, I'm guessing?
It is a 3-screw, yes.
Okay.
Because I think the Miracle Piano came out like 88, 89.
It could be any screw, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
That's what
that's
she
some of the,
said.
again, I have test carts for Super Nintendo, N64, and Game Boy.
yeah, but nobody cares about those.
Who cares about
Wow.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not Nintendo. It's not
It's not
NES.
Nintendo.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Nintendo is my passion. That was my
yeah,
first complete set that I had.
all NES is way
Some
better.
of
I'm just kidding.
again, some more historical stuff. Yeah, who cares about stadium events, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. You got an
Well,
air raid. I'd rather have an air raid. That's fine.
A 9.2 air raid. Heck yeah. That's insane. Those
That's a
carts,
good part.
those carts just got destroyed.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there's actually some more other test carts for Nintendo.
Hmm.
This is the only one I know to exist. It is so the Clue Land test cart that they use in the factory.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So there's also a soccer one as well.
Yep.
So this is the
I
only
remember that cart coming around.
one. Yeah. So, but yeah, you also have the Clue Land as well. But yeah, here he goes. Yeah, this one's not great yet, but again, both Clue Lands, 5 screw and 3 screw.
You got the
So
early one. The
yeah,
later
very
one,
early one.
interesting.
So,
Yeah.
and again, that the 5 screw one has a very special story. It was actually I talked to the gentleman who actually found it. It was in a test market deluxe set.
Yeah, I think I remember the story actually on that.
Yeah,
I,
so it was left in the system new in box
Mhm.
Wow.
from from the factory in Japan.
Like, here's a free game.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's Clue Land. So it's
You
yeah.
got Clue Land, Gyromite, and
Mm-hmm.
Duck Hunt. And he probably played Duck Hunt only. So
Of course, Nintendo. Yeah. I was actually able to get a gray NWC,
Nice score.
so I was happy to get that. Yeah, so most I've ever spent for a game, probably ever, will probably be, but I'm happy to actually have that. The history behind it is awesome. But again, I know it's not Nintendo, but I don't know if you guys ever seen one of these before.
Sega champion, Blockbuster champion. Yeah.
This is way rarer than an NWC by far.
Oh
I
yeah.
think there's probably less than 10 known copies in the world. But as you can see, CGG prototype for grading a loose Genesis. So I think it came out really nice, and they're going to be probably getting this done pretty shortly, so you can grade loose Genesis as well. But again, I'm very fortunate. Again, if I didn't have my collection that I procured way back, I would not be able to get a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I like your style. Look around at all my room full of great pieces and sometimes wonder if I should go down that road. But then I start, I can't. I don't know if I ever can. It's so hard. I look at the Satchin over here. I look at these mock-up boxes. I'm like, I just like this stuff too much.
Mm-hmm. So again, I'm just again like even non-Nintendo stuff. I have a heart for it.
Yeah.
So like in the 911, again, I love the story behind the just Siphon Filter 3. Just it's the stories. That's why I really enjoy the most, and finding out more about it and how it's changed the outscape the whole landscape of how video games. So
You need the Spider-Man now for PlayStation 1.
oh,
Where
what's the
you,
story behind that?
well, it's you have to play the game, but apparently there's a ROM revision that they had to change the game because you fight the last level on the
On
World
the
Trade
on the
Center.
on the trade centers?
Hmm. So
Awesome.
I've never sat down and figured that one out though.
Was it actually on a retail version, or was it
Yeah,
a
yeah, it was released and then they got off the shelves, patched it, and re-released it, if I'm not mistaken.
To pull the trade
gotcha.
centers off of it.
Hmm.
Wow.
Awesome.
So
But so again, I'm blessed. I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I pretty much just the last couple of variants were test cards, but of course there's always that gold NWC, but my wife would pretty much kill me. Yeah, it's
So let's just I always like to ask people this. God forbid this ever happens, so just strike that from your mind. But house is burning, or you just have to get the hell out of the house. You can grab one game. What are you grabbing?
oh, it'd be the one item that it'd be the lottery card.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
that's if I had to if I needed to sell this stuff, that would be the last thing I would sell
Yeah.
because it's just the story behind it, the historical. Not only is it a video, not a Nintendo video game, but it's also gambling history as well.
Yeah.
Minnesota history, everything. So it's just the historical significance of that cart being the only one known to exist,
Yeah.
and how important it is to the history of video games.
It's so funny how against gambling they were back then, and now you just have
Yeah,
gambling all over
yeah,
the place. It's online, it's on your phone, it doesn't matter.
Gamble for who's going to win
microtransactions,
president.
loot boxes, all it's hilarious. Just
It's in
Uh,
Roblox. Oh my god, my kids are playing Roblox and they're just hitting these buttons and it's just coin sounds over and over again.
yeah.
they're just programming you to gamble now.
Yeah, he's like,
Mhm.
and then my kid's like, we
Yeah.
need 400 Roblox bucks. We need 400 Robux to buy this chest so we can get this thing. I'm like, nope, not doing it.
So
Just a couple quarters, we go to the
yeah.
arcade.
So I also have a Play Choice 10. That's how I mainly play my games right now, is in my Play
Nice.
Choice.
Do you
But yeah, so my son loves that. We play it all the time.
are
Again,
you
you can see most of my items, my collection now, unfortunately, they're not games. They're more of
history?
supplemental or accessories to gaming. And that's where I'm now. Again,
So
that's
on the
that passion now.
so on the Play Choice 10, I actually have a bunch of boards with me right now.
Oh, okay.
Are
Okay.
are you I've got one right behind my computer right here. Uh do you play just the regular boards that came out with it, or do you
Mhm.
have an adapter and you just play any
Nope.
Nintendo game on there?
So I am an originalist. I
Awesome.
I need to have the original boards, which kind of hurt because I'm a huge Ninja Gaiden fan.
Oh, so Ninja Gaiden 3 hit you in the nuts.
I actually found one. So yeah, that one again. But yeah, I have my ideal 10, my ideal lineup for my 10 games. I'm happy with them.
And what is
Nice.
that, out of curiosity? Because that's always different for everybody.
So Dr. Mario is my
Okay.
favorite puzzle game. And then I have all three Ninja Gaidens.
Uh,
I have Castlevania.
ooh,
I like Contra, but I couldn't I had to choose between Contra, Super Contra, so I chose Super Contra. Mega Man 3, because I'm a big platformer guy. I love platformer games. And then Mike Tyson Punch Out, which my son loves,
yeah,
and Super Mario Brothers 3.
that's a great lineup.
It's my favorite. Yeah, it's just all my top games for Nintendo, the ones that I remember playing a lot.
Hmm.
I'm still baiting because I remember at a friend's house, I used to play Llloyd all the time. And
I
that's probably my 11th game if I had to is Llloyd, but
Nice.
I'm happy with my 10.
I've yet to play that game. I don't have it for my system yet. But yeah, collecting for the Play Choice 10 is fun because for the
Oof.
most part, most of the games are all kind of the same price-ish.
Yeah, they anywhere from 50 to about $250.
Yeah.
And there's only 55. It's not
It's
like 677 like for Nintendo and stuff like that. So
it's doable. Other
yeah,
than
and when it's doable, some games are pretty hard to find or pricey, but
yeah.
you can always get the that like an EverDrive for it as well, or a full game list if you want. So which is
So
nice.
essentially, you need 6 Play Choice 10s to if you wanted to play all of the
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, that's a new goal for you.
You get a
Oh
dual
yes, no,
screen, you get a red tent, right?
no. So right now, again, moving, I couldn't get a dual screen or a single monitor, so I got a countertop model.
Nice.
Ah,
So I can easily move that, put it in my truck, and go wherever we need to go.
those are
I
expensive
think
now.
I think that must be a military type of person because I had one and I sold it. Well, I think I just traded it to Matt
Mhm.
Benihana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one. I should have kept it.
Does
It's
he still
just
have it?
Yeah, he redid it all.
yeah, it's just
It
unfortunate.
needed
The
work.
controllers are so flimsy, unfortunately, on them. And once
Yeah,
you break those
he
controllers,
updated the joysticks. If
yeah.
I recall, he changed out the joysticks. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I got a dual screen just recently, and
Oh, beautiful.
it's a
That's
Play
right.
Choice 9 right now. I
Oh,
only have 9 games.
like
And I
under
got to get
20.
the zapper to work. I can't get that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's the hard part. Again, the holster, and everything for it as well.
Those suckers are
Mhm.
expensive now. My God.
I
Yeah.
got one. It's just not aligned or something. It's all screwed up.
And
So
the worst part is I'm sorry if some of my friends' kids are watching this episode at any point in your life, but when they come over and they play that damn thing, they always grab the zapper and it's just like bang, bang, bang on everything. And I'm just like, "Oh."
Oh yeah. Especially when we're playing. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is the 10th game. My
Okay.
son loves that, and
Mhm.
it just cringes every time he just playing the second. He just hammering on that controller. I'm like, oh,
Buttons
That's
buttons are a
good,
little
man.
bit cheaper than the than on the zapper, but
but still, I'm just like, oh,
You need like the quick release. They need to adapt that thing on there from like the Xbox.
Oh, good thinking.
definitely.
Yeah.
I guess the last Grail game I'm looking for NBA Elite 11 is pretty much the last Grail
That's a
game
good
I'm
one.
looking for.
You need a two ball also.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I'm more of again uh, just the history behind NBA Elite 11. How
Yeah, it's cool.
other than Concord that just came out, probably the next biggest flop.
Hmm.
So
So things that you're searching for now are, hypothetically, say price is no issue, or price is not an whatever. You would want a gold NWC, of course.
yep,
And then the NBA
Elite 11.
League 11. All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just again, it's just historical stuff that was big news or had a big impact on the video game industry. So
Yeah.
again, that's again, um, and again, I'm happy with that. What I have. Again, I got to meet amazing people along the top of the ride, and I'm looking forward to next PRGE. I got to meet all you guys and over there. And I
Did
know
you
it's the 40-year anniversary for Nintendo, which is huge. And I think
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring a lot of my stuff here and and with Frank's help, display. He wants to get every single Nintendo cart ever made at the museum.
well, they could have darn near had it because one of the booths had every single cart other than like one or two that they were
Oh,
selling.
but he's talking like test carts.
Everything, yeah,
Every
from licensed, unlicensed, test cards. Yeah, I know there was that gentleman that was selling his collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be that'll be cool. So
It'd be cool to see everything. I know with Hancock, his collection stuff, we should be very doable.
I could bring the Saturn games. They're
There you
all right
go. Just
there.
talk to
Put 'em-
Frank because I think that's what he definitely wants.
Yeah.
He wants to display all of them.
Was this your
That'd
first
be
time at
neat.
the Portland Retro Gaming Expo?
Oh yes, yeah.
What
Again,
and as your first time, what was your take from it? Like, how what was your takeaway?
my main thing was meeting all the individuals I've dealt with on Facebook and meeting all of them. But it's just, I love it. It was a huge convention, definitely the biggest one I've been to.
Yeah.
The main
Hmm.
ones I've been to was Retro Game Fest and Austin was the biggest one I've been to a couple times. But I loved it. Meeting everyone, seeing all the different awesome, unique items, talking about it. The game museum was awesome as well. Uh, and I'd love to go to two mini games and also Southeast Game Exchange as well. Those are probably the next ones I want to go to because I know it's totally different, both the stock and the retailers at all those events. So I get to meet
Oh
some of
yeah.
the other individuals that I watch their YouTube channels and stuff like that as well.
Sweet. And you love the fire alarm pole.
Oh yeah, that was me. I'm sorry, I was cooking.
That
Oh, so
was fun.
I was ready to fight someone. Yeah.
so I know you guys having large in collections. What do you guys do for insurance? Or do you have insurance? Because that was the one thing that I was having a very difficult time because my company, a really good company, but finding someone to appraise your collection,
Hmm.
especially when you have multiple items. What do you guys think of that? And what would you do?
Well, Josh, didn't Josh, can you even say that you well, the guy that is starting to go
Yeah,
around?
I know. I sent Nick your way.
Yeah,
Um,
Nick was awesome.
and
He's the one that did it. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that it doesn't exist in video game collecting.
Yeah.
but it does
And
another. I think that's
you're the one of the first real public examples of somebody going out of their way to and take the steps to do it. And it was if you go to any insurance company like you did, they're like, well, you have to do XYZ to make sure it's insured, it needs to
Mhm.
be legitimate, it needs to be documented, right?
Yep.
And in other hobbies, it's been around for years. In coin collecting, you can insure coins really
Yep,
easily.
comics,
So,
everything is cars, everything is now. But no, they I remember my insurance company who deals with it's a special one. It's American Collectors Insurance. They deal with automobile collections and other stuff. I'm really their main person when it comes to video games
Mhm.
as a collector. Um, they had no idea that video games were even remotely a collectible.
Yeah, I think it's people need to think about it, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't, because your homeowner's insurance is going to be like,
No,
what?
it's at most 25,000 is the most,
Exactly.
and you do not want to leave it up to the insurance companies. They will lowball you
Yeah.
Mhm.
nonstop.
And
You'll
then they're going to have to figure out where to go get their information,
Yep,
because they're not going to know who to talk to about the values of these items.
yep. So I unfortunately I had a claim. It was back in 2014. I had a
Mhm.
flood in my basement. I lost everything on the bottom rows of my collection.
Ooh,
Um, at that time, it came to about 10 grand in items. And I remember I had to go through, I didn't leave it up to them at all. I went on eBay and did everything sold, same exact condition, everything. With
Mhm.
they said here, and they did check everything. So, but it was a lot of work on my end. It was a lot of
Yeah,
work.
you're going to have to do it yourself, right?
Yeah. I'm not leaving it up to them because they're going to find the cheapest reproduction sometimes even.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you have to do. I definitely, for individuals who have those large collections, especially ones that go into the six-figure range, you definitely want to have insurance
Yeah.
specifically for your collection.
and you're gonna have to have somebody like
Like, yep,
CGC or WADA at this point, because there's no straight authentication. If
nope,
there needs to be, I've talked about this before, Matt, you and I have, about
Mhm.
just solely this is an authentic item. That's
yep,
it. And the reason you're getting it authenticated, and people are like, oh, I know that's real. No, the reason you're doing it is that you have to put a monetary value to it.
mm-hmm,
There's a drastic difference, even if you aren't putting number grades on them. But if you are, in a certain case, there's a drastic difference in value on a comic book from a 1.8 to a 9.4 on a special comic book, right? You're going to
yep,
need to know that condition matters eventually. The video game purist collectors that exist now are going to poo-poo that whole idea, but one day it's going to change. It just will. Um, as
Yeah,
the hobby matures
it
I
will.
and
And
people
again, that's again, I know people disc grading and all that stuff, but it's a service that needs to be there. We need
has to.
grading. You
Yeah.
need it.
yeah, especially if you want to insure it and protect it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if that's what they're requiring, then guess what? You're gonna have to do it.
Again, when you go, even in the when you get into the couple $100 for an item, you want to make sure that it is authentic.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah.
So
If you even
it,
the people who are playing the games are just I'm a gamer, right? They want to buy a real copy of Mario Kart 64 or a real cartridge of Mario 64 for DS, right? They don't want to get a knockoff piece of
mhm,
shit. So that's it comes down to authenticity a lot of times.
And
yeah,
I have bought knockoff DS games, not even knowing. And then I
yes.
Mhm.
learned what to look for, and I was like, oh man, they're so close. How would you ever know?
Some of them are just exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'd be damned if they didn't make them in the same place. So
What's interesting actually is you talking about protecting your collection goes into the I mean, if we can get him on that quick, but getting Steve Lynn on next time, he wanted to talk about preserving your games after you're gone.
Yeah,
How to distribute that amongst family or what you need to do, and do you have a plan and things like that.
because I can guarantee you right now, a lot of my collection was from people donating to thrift stores
Yeah.
after
mhm.
someone passes. I remember there was this huge collection I got at a Goodwill that was really nice, and I talked to the manager like, "Hey, it was a box. It was marked at $300. It was 55 CIB Nintendo games, like all the good stuff, Zelda, Final Fantasy, all of them." And I said, "Where did this come from?" Oh, some couple donated it because their brother died.
Right.
Wow.
And this Goodwill got Nintendo, this Goodwill got the Genesis, this Goodwill got the Sega.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, it's nice that I'm saving it because I know that person would want another collector or someone who loves the items to have it.
Yeah.
But it just, of course, I tell my family now that it's insured and I have it digital and physical. If anything does happen, again, there's a good amount of money here that it could really help my family if I were something bad to happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't take this stuff with me,
And this is
unfortunately.
this is things other collectors are going to have to start thinking about, especially as prices are ever, growing
Yeah.
up. Or
Again, look, what 1972 is when video games first started. So we're talking 50 plus years ago.
yeah.
So again, we're in another 20, 30 years. Some of those first video game collectors, even now, I know there's that one in Dallas that the brothers who passed away and they got someone bought all their collection. That's going to start
That's kind of
happening.
it's a cool, it's an amazing collection, but it's really sad to think,
It
right? Like,
is
Yeah.
that two brothers, amazing collection, but it's just the heart and soul that they went through to get that.
And
mhm.
I wonder what it actually first sold at the estate sale for. Like I wonder what the prices were on some of those sealed games that people were grabbing. I'm just like, oh,
Uh,
ah,
but again, it happens all the time now. It's going to happen more and more often.
It
Like
is.
when I was stationed in Europe, in Germany, I had my collection five, and it took up the whole walk-in closet and boxes at my in-laws, and I was just dreading seeing on Facebook or at an estate sale or garage sale that someone bought all my games. But
Got this amazing score.
oh my gosh, yeah. But
Oh, those are
I
my
found
games.
I found the lottery cart.
but it's nice knowing that if something were to happen, so my stuff is let's say more unique that it would people would know
Yeah.
the item.
Yeah.
So it's just like Jason Bissard with his air raid. There's so many. They have each one has the unique characteristics that we really know that it was his.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
hoping that now that people know about my items, that if something does happen, whether they were stolen or anything like that, people would know to look out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's even documented on things like this.
Yeah.
I
So
think you're very forward thinking, Lloyd. I don't think a lot of people have gone to this length. I mean, I haven't.
yeah.
I'm guilty of
So
it.
I think
So,
of there's hundreds of really introvert collectors out there that have
oh,
probably amazing collections.
thousands. There's so many, man. Like, it's insane to me to
and
actually
it would
think
just be
about that.
sad if at least I wish it'd be nice if we knew about some of these really unique items, like especially historical items, that if the
Mhm.
person passes away or a fire, it's lost. It is lost.
Right.
So that's why I like the Video Game History Foundation, where they have my program for my lottery card and so well as some of the other items. So just in case something does happen to the physical copy, we at least have the program.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
that
as
was
we
a big thing
saw,
in preserving it. And that's again, I know some people are hesitant about that because of the value and all this stuff. Again, it's all about the history for me. I don't care about it's just I want it to be preserved and people to appreciate because these items, some of these games forge the path for what we have now. So
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so that's my stance. That's why I went after these items. I could have just sold all my collection, took all that money, and then
Put it all in black.
put it on black. Yeah, I could have done. So yes, there's a whole bunch of scratch offs.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done.
Scratch offs. There you go.
There you go.
I think I think one thing that can't be understated is you have such unique items, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility that somebody that has a stadium events complete box or sealed or whatever, there's a case pack. There's 4 case packs.
Yep,
Like
we know that we know there's a sealed case of it. So
yeah, well, could be even more. You never know how this stuff
oh,
works.
but yeah, I don't know if you saw the documentary from John of Fire and Ice who
Yeah,
talked about
from
the guy who
Ryan, right,
destroyed
right.
them all. So there's not
Well,
many out there.
but still, did he destroy them all? Like, is there another place, another store that didn't open their shipment or didn't send it back. There's so much.
Yeah, I'm
So much
sure. I'm
stuff
sure
that
a
costs them.
case that Atwood has was from a retail store.
Sure, but anything, any game that had a public release
Yeah.
or was mass produced has that possibility that somebody slipped it into their closet because it was said to be destroyed.
Yep. Look at Cheetah Man 2.
Hmm. I'm still waiting for them for the um, what's that? The Happy Camper game for the palette of that to be found because it was done. Color Dreams was ready to ship that sucker.
Yeah.
They had the boxes, the manuals, everything, cartridges.
And it's I know it's I'm not saying I don't look down upon some of these newer people, new collectors that are buying this new stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Look at Poop Slinger for PS4.
Yeah,
There's pallets of it, pallets because it was
indeed.
unsold.
Possible. I think yeah, Poop Slinger sounds like a joke to me more than anything, but
It is, but again, it's high up there. If
And
you
it
need a
was,
complete PS4 set, you need it.
and it's not cheap.
No, it's not. But there's right now the guy who made it. There's cases that he didn't sell.
mhm.
And just filter off a couple to
Just
see
need
from
to
C
add
here
that
and
poop to your
there.
collection.
Oh yes, yes. So again, yeah, yeah. But I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm very
That's
Yeah.
happy. I
that's
wish I would have went after this stuff much earlier when it was like a fraction of what it is now. But I'm happy that again I want to loan this out to museums. I know you have the
Yeah.
Dallas one, you have the one in Chicago. There's a couple other ones that have reached out to me. It's just nice having it all together so you can have a nice display and go over the history of it.
it
Sure.
it's freaking cool. Like your collection is very unique and very specific and I think it's awesome and I thank you for sharing it with us and
Yeah.
sharing it with everybody else watching now and however long these videos are ever up. So
Mm-hmm.
um one part of the program we always do is we go over the last video and there's not that many comments, but we read the comments. You up for reading a couple comments if you
Yeah.
want to? I think you know how that goes. Let's and then and then if you've got any wins, I mean I realize that you're so niche down. I don't maybe you don't, but maybe you have a win somewhere else, something different.
Oh,
Great.
oh, there's Dr. Disrespect. There you go.
Yeah, some people were giving me a little bit of flack, but
I would have loaned you my Blockbuster World Championship card. You would have been a perfect costume.
that would have been great. Oh, that guy's he cracks his videos crack me up. All right, we only have 9 comments, so this will go quick. So this will be
uh,
nice. Let's see. Let's sort by newest. Ah, Phil Screen Games. Josh, you want to read that one?
Sure.
All
Phil's
right.
a Phil's a good dude. Josh, I'm not rich yet. I just hustle as much as the next guy. Also, as much as I agree with N64 is mostly trash and Ocarina of Time is garbage, there are a few games I like from that console. Blast Corps, totally different game idea and fun for the time. Mischief Makers, awesome platformer, especially if you like cutesy anime shit. I don't. Sorry, Phil. Doom 64 and a decent, unique Doom port, and it came out in 64 of all consoles. Yeah. And I did respond to this. I went and read it already, but I agree with Doom 64, and it's cool and one of the 5 good games.
yeah. I again, I remember with N64 when I was going for a complete set, it was a stigma back then because it was no one liked it.
I'm amazed that people like this shit now. It's
Oh gosh, but I have very awesome games on there. Like GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing,
mm,
Mario 64. I
Wave
liked
race.
Ogre Battle.
Perfect Dark,
Yeah, let's see,
Doom,
StarCraft 64 was on there. Really good game. Harvest Moon.
Wayne Gretzky's hockey. That's it. 5 games.
There you go. Yes.
Fucking like it.
I'd say 10 or 15 that are
Mm.
actually enjoyable playing. Then you have like Superman and stuff like that, which is just garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, Mario's, yeah. All right, moving along. Rad Workshop. Recently started digging into TMNT on the NES.
Mhm.
As a child, I always struggled through the water level and barely made it out alive. I hear you there. I have now made the water my bitch and currently working on the insta-death fall walk down walls. Coming in your area.
If
Uh,
you know, you know, Matt.
okay.
Yeah.
I
It's an
appreciate it.
acronym
Okay, that's a
for
tough one
the
for me.
for the current gen.
Let's leave out the comments.
Yeah,
Lloyd,
that's
Lloyd,
yeah.
Lloyd,
Once you get past the dam level, it doesn't get any easier
No,
initially.
that is brutally. It's again. There's those brutally punishing kid games. You have that Battletoads, Lion King.
Lion King is a that's a
I I I
nightmare game, actually.
I remember renting it multiple times, trying to get past that freaking the wannabe king level. It sucked.
Yeah, they did something on the giraffe heads, if I recall, where you're jumping and it looks like you're gonna hit the head, but you just slip through him, right?
Oh,
I don't remember. I don't. It's impossible. I hated that game.
I finally got past the tunnels, the Battletoads scene,
The Battletoads
the
tunnel.
Battletoads second level. I finally got past that. That was nightmare.
Yeah, fuck that
Lots of
game.
memorizing.
Oh, all right. So I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, you want to read one? You can
Yep.
read
When
Josh's
did
one.
Dr. Disrespect come onto YouTube? And why
Whoa,
is he talking to a guy named Josh? I guess
monk.
he got unbanned from Twitch.
Yeah, again.
Again, yes.
I forgot about the rumors and stories, but I looked into him and I think people are just after him to be honest, but I have no idea. I still
Again,
like him for his personality.
hey, really entertaining. Again, I used to watch his Twitch channel all the time. He's really good first person shooter player,
Yeah,
but is he obnoxious and narcissist? Of course,
but he's hilarious.
he is.
If
He
you're on
is.
the internet, you typically are.
Hilarious.
So
But
There's,
again, he did things that were inappropriate to say that.
yeah, I'm just gonna say hopefully they're not true.
I hope so too,
Yeah,
because he's an awesome entertainer. But
he's he's good for video games,
yes.
I think so. Assuming the best anyway.
Hmm.
So let's hope they're not true. I'll reply to him later. Go for it, Josh.
this is hard to watch. Only a few minutes in, and I want to hear. All I want to hear is Matt say two chicks at the same time, as it looks like the guy from Office.
Oh
Guess so,
God, I love
Eric.
Office Space. Oh,
Yeah, I do too.
I am only now watching through it,
what?
and
What?
yeah, I
What?
think Tracy said she's done watching it, so it's just me on my own at this point.
What?
I can quote every single line of that movie.
Yeah, I can too, Matt.
Uh,
Michael Bolton was a fine name
I
until
know.
sixth grade.
all
Oh man.
right. That was you. So I think I'm up. Marty, the one man party. How you doing, bro? It's always fun when you guys bring in guests. Hey, we've got Lloyd today.
Yeah.
You should bring in Braveheart.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
So he
Brave. Yeah.
so
Speaking
he
of a
could
yeah, old Nintendo age, yeah, Braveheart, man.
show off his insane collection knowledge. Yeah. Did you meet him at the show, Lloyd?
No, I may have again, but
He
love
keeps a
to see
low
his stuff.
profile. He just sneaks in, says hi, off
Best
he
smelling dude in
goes.
the show, I'll give him that. Doesn't smell like a bunch of BO dudes.
I just remember seeing some of his pics from his personal stuff, his prototypes, his really rare stuff from Nintendo age. Just like wow, just amazing.
Yeah. It I his he his spreadsheets are impressive, is what it's not even about knowledge. He's smart enough to put it all down, and
God,
he would blow some minds with some of those, even to this day.
has he ever thought of making a book?
I Good question. We can bring him on and ask him.
He just likes to keep it
Eric, I know
interesting.
you're watching this, so the demand is going up, bro. He's a he's a creeper.
So this next one's from Carts and Cardboard. Speaking of great nicknames, what are some of your favorite usernames from forum days or eBay? One of my favorites was always I ate pie today. It's always made me want pie. Oh man.
Yeah, what were some of
Not
the
not it's not really a username, but I remember I don't know if they're still selling, but there was that one eBay account that always had that girl with like the very low V-neck.
Yeah, I know the one. I know the one.
Oh, the gay.
Yeah. I, it worked. It must have sold a lot, man.
Yeah, they're out of stock. So
Yeah.
you need to get into selling VHS. Big Hooters, right, man? Okay. Clever.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
know their actual name. I'm just putting that down, but I remember the pictures and I'm like, holy shit, how can
Like
you not?
every from their like every game was her holding it like right at their navel.
Yeah, it worked though.
I,
Josh, can
Man,
you remember anything
the Nick Ross is the all-time greatest forum name with the dude
with the stick and the
with the
power
stick,
glove?
and then
oh yeah,
meeting
yeah,
Nick Ross and not being that wasn't the dude. And
yeah,
he was
yeah.
the Nick
Was
Ross.
was it Nick Ross? It was just
Yeah,
Nick Ross?
it was no, it was the Nick Ross.
The Nick Ross.
Yeah, I mean, it was all low caps, lowercase, no caps. Um,
We
I
should
love that guy.
yeah, he's fantastic. He used to have a restaurant up there, and so when we'd come up to Portland Retro Gaming Expo after on one of the nights, we'd go to his restaurant and eat. That was a lot of fun back in the day.
There
Um,
was great old forum people names. I mean, just creative nicknames. Yeah, there was a lot, but I mean, just good dudes from the past.
Yeah, like when I tried looking at like just random stuff on the internet, I come across some of the archived Nintendo age. I
Yeah.
just I really I know with Go Collect, I just really wish they would have saved it.
yeah.
What can you do?
Can't. There's nothing you do now.
Can't do shit.
But all the history. Oh,
Yeah, that's the killer right there. Josh, you wanna hit Marty and then I'll hit Brian. Well, Brian's pretty easy.
Hit and quit him. I love the costumes. Marty loves the costumes.
And
I had a
then
good time trick or treating, Marty. It was a good time.
Brian is first. He beat out Blockbuster. Where is Blockbuster?
It's late.
so I know I saw you saw I know you guys saw some of my lifelong goals of getting some of these grails. What are some of the grails that you are like true grails that you're looking for?
Oh,
Oh, I want a gold NWC. I've always wanted one.
I think everybody can say that.
Of course,
Yeah.
but something that is not $500,000. But yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
my personal grail, man.
More mock-up boxes. I haven't seen them yet. When I see them, I'll know. So that's kind of how it goes with this crap. Um,
For me, it's probably so I can break, so Brian doesn't have to bust my balls about this. Probably more Halo stuff.
Okay. Oh, you saw it was just posted you saw the steelbook mock-up, right? For
Yeah,
sale.
yeah, I saw that.
It's called
yeah, but it's game of the year, Steelbook mock-up, Matt. Come on. I don't want that trash.
Some of that stuff is interesting to me. I really, I
To
don't
me,
even.
that's more interesting than it is to Matt, actually. And I am on the other spectrum of don't really care about Halo, where Matt's over here. But
Sure.
when Halo meets mock-up display, that's on my side of the fence. But there's no way I'm giving Chris Chamberlain 25 grand for that. So
I'd say like for me personally, it's not a grail, but I would really like, and I passed one or two up back in the day, but I think I would like to add a Halo prototype.
oh, nice.
Um, you you can get them out of collectors' hands. I mean, it's not cheap, but I
Yeah.
think that's probably something I wouldn't mind adding to my. I think I pretty much have everything else.
Where did all that Bungie stuff go? Like the original stuff?
I just offloaded it. I mean, a lot of people there, just took random stuff, and
Oh,
as Eric would say, we could call Linda, and she probably knows.
oh man.
I'm hoping maybe Eric can just bust into that realm again someday and just hook us all up.
I hope
But
so.
yeah, that guy's a. Do you have any wins? Any wins at all? It doesn't even have to be video game oriented, just wins. We like to kind of keep the positivity up. I don't know. What anything?
Again, PRG was amazing. I got to meet a lot of the people I have talked to multiple times over the internet, just talking, chilling, and just being around people who appreciate some of the niche stuff that I like, but also video gaming in general. I
Mhm.
think that's what the community needs. Um,
What was your highlight? Like, was there any one specific person that you were super excited to actually meet in person? Like you were just,
oh man, just I like this the YouTube personalities. I watch a lot. Gabbo was nice. I got to talk to him a lot as well. A lot of the other YouTubers. Me Nathan, I've worked with him a lot.
hmm.
And then same with is it Pierre, I think, from Canada.
Mm,
He was there with the booth with the guy
Oh,
who
with
transports a lot
Brandon.
of.
Yeah. Yes. With
Yeah,
Brandon, the like guy.
yep,
Yeah.
awesome
Yeah.
guy as
First time I
well.
met him. So.
So yeah, it was just really an awesome, just putting the faces, the names. It was really cool. That was the main thing I liked a lot.
Hmm.
it is fun. Everybody's happy. Everybody's positive. Well, not everybody, but for the most part, it's just like a big hangout.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely looking forward to the next couple conventions. Try to just convince my wife so I can leave the kids. It'd be nice. That's the hard part.
Do you guys live in Vegas now, or where do you guys
No,
live?
so again, I live on a military installation,
Oh, okay.
middle of
So
nowhere.
middle of nowhere.
Yep,
Area 5053.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Take
Josh,
a
you got
family trip. Leave them at my house with my kids, my wife.
Oh yeah, there was a point where it was close to. I think I put it on Facebook that I was looking. The military sending me back overseas. Like, what am I going to do with all my stuff?
wow.
That's still possible. I'm hopefully looking at maybe Japan. I would love to go to Japan. That'd be just be
I'd
stationed
go
over
to
there. It'd
Japan
be
too.
nice.
You could just put your stuff in the vault somewhere. You could take it to well, there's a couple different vaults now, but
Yeah, or just loan it to Dallas Museum in Dallas, Museum in Chicago,
that's
That's
true.
not a bad idea. Yeah, putting stuff on loan.
because I know that they would take care of it, and it would, again, other people would appreciate it as well.
Yeah.
Josh, you got it? You got any wins?
Yeah, I got a Metroid Prime Hunters first hunt demo,
Ooh,
European demo for Nintendo DS. I did not have this with the case, so that's pretty good. But I got a full Nintendo DS um, NFR set, and that
oh,
was
nice,
like
beautiful. That's
one of the
awesome.
stupid ones I needed still. That was people don't really count. Then I got a Q Boy.
A Q boy.
Q Boy. Yeah, this is from Peter. Sent it
Ah,
to me because I said I needed one. He's like, "Oh, I have an extra one." So Sachin made this. It's it's probably a better Nintendo 64. No, it's actually so it's like a Nintendo 64 controller, but it's literally has games on it, and
Nice.
it's a Family clone system. So it's kind of a pile of hot garbage, but I love it.
You
So
see those all the time at flea markets.
oh, you didn't see the Q Boys, you saw the Power Joys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, that brings back memories. Oh my god.
powered the black Power Joy and had the shitty black Power Joy
Oh.
cartridge. You never find the second controller to it, and then you're like, why doesn't this thumbstick move? Yeah,
Oh,
move over.
I
Move
guess one of the
over,
wins
dog.
I did pick up the new Mario Party Jamboree. It's really good.
Okay, okay,
My
yeah.
son loves that game. Oh,
for
I
Switch.
yes, for Switch. Yeah.
gotta go get the new Zelda. I gotta play that.
Oh,
Matt, did I show the mock-up boxes ever? I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah, the ones you bought. Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lloyd,
let's.
were you at the auction, Lloyd? At
No,
the
I had to leave,
Oh, I
unfortunately.
bought these.
These were both there.
Oh,
And they have
nice.
prototypes in them. So unreleased.
That
Double
Unreleased.
one's
clutch. That's awesome.
that one's
Yeah.
cool.
With mock-up covers. I love it.
Are you guys into any of the original art or no?
Oh yeah. I got some.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I don't have it here. It's not in this room. I got the cover for Choplifter for the um
Nice.
Apple II original cover. And I got Cool Spot for Super Nintendo, Genesis cover,
Nice.
Afterburner for NES, and a bunch of other random stuff.
Awesome.
The big ones though.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I just got a couple wins, and then we can end it. I still got them in the baggies, but whatever. We all have an affinity for, I like the Atari Black Box,
Mhm.
the Sears, and trying to get that a sealed collection and all of those is damn near impossible. But
Just getting
picking
them
a
high grade would be impossible, I feel like at this point.
yeah, yeah, picking away at them's just fun. Star Raiders, no big deal, but I'm stoked to add it to the list. I didn't have it.
Yeah, again, you're,
Uh,
you're talking 40 plus years. That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah,
bastardized that thing though and took it out of the original box, Matt.
But
It's supposed to come with a
bite me.
video touchpad.
Well, Wada couldn't grade the whole box, so bite me.
Needs a
I
qualifier label.
This to me is
oh,
pretty big because it's a 9.0, which is
That's
like we're
big.
talking about 40 years. That's insanity. Missile
mhm.
Command, obviously one of the better games. Um, Plenty of time playing that. And then just a super hard one. I can't believe I got it for the cost that I did. So I have to thank Eric, Josh, and um, oh my God, because they all, you know, let me have it. Was the Submarine Commander sealed? I mean, it just doesn't come up that often. It's just crazy
Doesn't
hard.
come up ever. There's two sealed, Matt.
Yeah, well,
That's a unique game that was only released by Sears as well. So, um,
yeah.
Submarine Commander, Stellar Track, and Steeplechase are Sears exclusives for the 2600 set.
I couldn't imagine going for the full set. Like, there's so many variants.
Oh yeah, it's
Forget the variants. Just
oh
just even trying to get any of the sets is
the funny
just
thing about Atari variants is when you try to talk to an Atari collector about them, they don't even know about them.
No, that just we don't know how many there are. There's so many homebrews. It's like there that came out during the time. So
Yeah, it's wild. It's a
it,
wild set
the base set is only like 50, I have to look on my phone. It's like 58, 57.
for Sears
Um,
telegames.
oh yeah,
for
yeah.
Sears Telegames, but it's just
Yeah.
it's literally like good luck because you don't you'll see about like 20 of them, occasionally, but the other,
Oh yeah, go find soccer Sears
yeah, the
telegames.
other 38, I've never even seen one.
You'll never see like a CIB soccer for released by Sears. It doesn't come up. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a dump set. Don't
It's
do it.
it's dumb, but it's like sick pleasure,
You
whatever.
do this because someday you'll go to that garage sale of the ex Sears executive and he's got a case of five of each. You
Ooh.
know,
Yeah,
it'll happen. They're probably dead already.
it'd be a
So
great day.
probably already ended up in the landfill. Anyway,
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to share? You want anybody to find you anywhere, or do you want to just lay low in a hole? Do you want to say anything to everybody, or
Again, you'll find me on the high-end Facebook group, as
all
well
right,
as Reddit.
cool.
Uh, my username is MTG Army on Reddit. So I post some of my stuff that I find or some interesting stuff that I think would benefit the community there. But
What subforum on Reddit?
game collecting
Game
oh man,
collecting.
okay.
I haven't.
again, yeah, but yeah, mainly high end Facebook group.
I am Facebook. Okay.
That's my main forum that I talk to and discuss with other people.
All right.
Sweet. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show. I know
Thank
it's
you.
been a
Yes.
long time coming.
Yeah.
Um, Thanks for making the time, and
Great stories. Thank you for sharing the lotto.
Yeah.
And again, like you guys, you've been collecting for some. Like I've seen so many different things in 25 years.
Mhm.
It's just awesome. And that's the fun part of collecting. But
I agree.
and I love playing the games well. But it's the stories, the memories. That's again, that's the main part why I collected for so long.
I'll tell you what, that's why I do it anymore. It's the discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really is.
Josh was literally freaking out when you
I
found that.
lost my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
this thing, here it is.
Trust me, you should imagine when I first saw it and it first clicked, like, is this what I think it is? And I'm like, oh my God. And then my heart sank when he says he didn't want to share it with anyone except for me. I'm like, no, I have to let people know that this thing exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Thank
Like I
God.
have to. Because like I remember like, it was a myth for so long on Nintendo Age. I remember so many forums on it. I'm like, I have to get this out. And I
There's
remember
still more. The best part is there's still more myths out there.
Yeah.
what myth now that this is found, what next item would you want found that was thought to be gone or non-existent?
The what's the Ultimate Journey for
Ultimate
NES?
for prototype. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the one of the last big ones. They got a full cover spread, like not cover, but like
Yeah, a
covered
full layout on Nintendo Power.
in Nintendo Power. Hasn't
Yeah.
surfaced.
God.
It's got to be there, man.
Happy
Somebody's got.
camper final.
It's somewhere there.
Happy camper.
I'd love to see Hellraiser.
And who know, I bet you right now there's collectors out there that actually have it, but they don't want to share it.
Well, Hellraiser cartridge, the super cartridge does exist, and you are not wrong about that. So, um, yeah,
Again, it's yeah.
I'd love for that stuff to come out. I'd love Police Academy on
Yep.
NES.
Again,
Yeah,
I've had many arguments regarding to prototype collectors, and that's what it is, that they don't want to share it, which kind
yeah.
of it hurts me because like it belongs to everyone.
Yeah, and it sucks if it dies with them
Well,
and
it also really
disappears.
doesn't belong to them in the first place.
No,
The people who currently own it, like
it's
it
nothing.
belongs to the
It's
original IP owner
yeah.
or whoever
I,
built the game.
again, I know there's financial. They own it. They technically own it now, so they can do whatever they want. But again, you have to think what's best for the long term as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what good's a story if it just ends with you? You know, don't you
Yeah.
want to share that and be a part of that story? Say, hey, so and so was, leave a little
You
bit of a
would think so,
legacy.
Matt, but people are strangely selfish human beings. Like it's just how it is.
I
Mhm.
mean, I get it to a degree, but I just find that there's more joy in sharing, kind of like why we do this. We bring other collectors onto the show to share their stories, and so that, none of this is lost because any of us can go at any time, and then all your stories, your collection tales, and they're gone. And for what? What
Yeah.
good was it?
Yeah.
But,
Right. What good was it?
well, thanks again. We
Yeah.
appreciate.
No.
Happy to have you on again, especially if you find anything else, please.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll see. I'll see what I can find. I'll find Hellraiser. Okay.
That'd
More it's
be
Alloyd.
that'd be awesome.
Going on a little road trip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just there's a couple items I know that exist, and I know the collectors that have them. It's the long game working with them.
Maybe we need to make a documentary film finding the Hellraiser prototype. We call it Raising Hell.
That'll be awesome.
Working title. Okay. I'm into it.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
just it,
We'll
it,
get
it
Frank
yeah.
going on it.
Yeah, I guess it's like the California raisins. The guy, unfortunately, the guy passed away who found it.
Yeah, that's a sad story. It really is.
But
Like,
again, his memory is now the game is out there,
mhm.
so now his memory is foregoing now, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
You're tied to the lotto cart now, buddy.
oh, I'm tied. Yes,
Yeah, married
yes.
to it, if you will. So, Lloyd, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on the
Yeah.
show.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again. If any of you watching have thoughts, questions, feel free to reach out. leave it in the comments. Hate mail goes to Josh, and we love you
Right.
all, and we'll see you again next time.